Hello, Kansas and Western fans. So I got about halfway through doing some lights, adding some lights to this Holcomb Power Plant scene when I realized I should probably record some of this because once it's all done, you're going to have no idea how it is that I came about to adding all these different lights in different places. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and record some of that. And this is also a reminder for me, if I take a several month break from adding lights, this will remind me about how I approached it on at least this scene and this kit. So first of all, we have the main plant structure here, and you can see all the windows. Anything that had windows, I wanted to add at least one interior light so that when we turn the lights off, you can see there that there is some interior lights added. But what I did for this was fairly simple, and especially with, sorry for the lights changing like that, for a building this big, what I'm doing is I'm using the inside of it, since it doesn't have a full base or a full foundation, to hide my Woodland Scenics light hubs inside here. That way I can work on those, change them out, whatever I need to do without having to do a whole lot of work underneath the layout. And here you can see one of those typical stick-on 25 amp lights that come with these hubs. And I have it stuck to just a piece of styrene, and that's because I don't think it would stick very well to this plywood, and the styrene's kind of a big piece just to make sure it stays upright and pointed up in the air. Now on the inside here, you can see how I've flat black spray painted the interior just to kind of eliminate any bleed through the plastic, and I think it works fairly well, as you can see there with the light turned off. But I'm going to show you what else I'm working on for this scene, or what I've gotten done so far. I had to delicately remove the conveyors because parts of those conveyors are glued at the ends, so I could get to this structure. And I'm going to turn the light off again so you can see what I have added inside there. So you can see, and I didn't paint the inside of that black because I thought the exterior paint would be enough. So there is quite a bit of bleed through. I might go back and fix that because that's not very attractive where you can see the different shades there. But in terms of light, that works really well. And again, it's just another stick-on light that's stuck to a piece of styrene pointed up. The light coming through the bottom is obviously the brightest because it's at the bottom, but the light coming through the top windows is pretty good too. Let me swing around here and turn that light back on. All right, let's go to other elements of the power plant, and I'm spread out all over the place so I have places to work. This part here you can see is laying on its side. This is the part that connects to the smokestack, and I'm adding over every doorway these wall mounted lights. And you can see what I've done is I've drilled a hole to allow the wire to pass through, and then on the inside I've drilled a hole which will go through the sub-road bed where I can connect everything underneath. And what you have here is a track cleaning block holding that wire taut while the super glue dries for that mount there. And I'm just kind of letting those dry for several hours to make sure that they don't move. I'm hoping to have these done and in place in time for my construction update that's next. So we'll see what these lights look like. But that's kind of how I'm working on this aspect. And then over here, this element here is kind of the ash pit, the ash unloading building, which abuts right up to the main structure there. So this big opening you're not going to be able to see. So all I have here is just a single overhead light for that door. And the wire is going to actually go through the sidewall on that side there, so you won't see that. And then it'll all connect up. One of the kits that you can buy, or wire sets that you can buy, are these connectors where you can connect several of these tiny wires all together into one, and then this connection here actually goes into the hub to make that simple. I have tried this out on the refinery. It works just fine. You can twist several wires together because they're very small and all go into one, so you only really need to use one of these per one of these stations. At least that's the theory. So you can see what I have, my apron here, skirting is all lifted up on top of the layout because I have had to get underneath, and it's good to prove that I can do that. Crawl underneath here, underneath the helix. Let me see if I can show the camera to you, or show you what I've been working on under there. I can't see what I'm showing you, so you're just going to There it is. I can see where the wires are coming through there. I've got a power pack set up with an extension cord, so I shouldn't ever have to unplug that. That's just tied into some of my layout lighting. The extension cord is, so when I turn the layout lighting on and off, that kills the power to that. And so you can see how that's working. Anyway, a lot more work to do on this scene in terms of lights. I have one more red LED flashing light that I intend to add to the top of this stack. I plan to run that wire. I was going to run it through a piece of styrene, but then I remembered that there's kind of a step to the top there where it makes that smaller portion there. So I think I'm just going to run the wire right inside it and then have it come out the top and the back here, and then just kind of stick up to the top. I might attach that to a piece of I-beam styrene just to make sure it stays vertical and stays glued in place. So that's an idea for that. And then that red light will be facing out in this direction, so it'll stand out to the viewer in this way. But otherwise, lots of, and I'll show you the actual lights that they come in the kits here. These are those wall mount lights that come in a pack of 2. There's those linker plugs that I was showing you. And then I still have several of these HO street lights that I plan to add around the perimeter to light the yard, the parking area in front of the building here. The substation that was sitting right here is going to be lit on all 4 sides. So lots more to do, but I'm happy with the progress so far. I wouldn't say it's painstaking, but it is some kind of detail work. So I'm going to continue with that, and I'll update you again, either with a construction update on how this looks when it's all done, or just some further work when I start to add those street lights in the area. But anyway, just wanted to add kind of a progress of how the things are going here with lights anyway. So that's about it for now. Thanks for watching. All right, so here's some video evidence that I can indeed wire these tiny things together. And this is by far and away the smallest wire I have ever worked with in my life. So getting those to twist together so that they could fit inside of that and stay, I'm calling an accomplishment. Now, the one issue I have with these wall mount lights is they point right back at the wall. Like they don't really illuminate, the surface below, which I would think is what they would be for. So this is kind of odd. I think I might try to bend one of these to see if you can get the light to point more down. And I started to wonder if maybe I'm not mounting these right, but I think this is the way they're supposed to be mounted. So I'm going to take a look and see what these look like in the dark. So I guess it's not bad. It's going to blind somebody walking through that door, though. But otherwise, I guess it's not too bad. I might see if I can bend one, though, and see if that works. Okay, I took a risk and tried bending. First, I bent one that wasn't installed, so I didn't screw these up. I didn't know if I would snap them off of the super glue or not, but they do bend. I feel like it's made out of wire, but I'm not 100% sure. It could be plastic. I'm not sure if I created a little bit of a crease there, when you weaken plastic and it kind of turns white. So I'm not sure if that's what we're looking at right in the middle of the neck there. But it does look a lot better. It points more straight down at the surface, which is what you would expect. So let's turn the lights off and see how that illuminates the horizontal surface below better. Yes, that is much better. So these can be bent. I don't know if it's meant to be that way because the way they're packaged, they're packaged in that shape that they originally were. And you can still see it does more illuminate the wall than it does the surface. But this looks a lot better. I feel like you can see down the stairs a little bit. If you were a person walking out that door, this one definitely illuminates the ground much better. So note to everyone out there, these do bend so that you can make them point straight down to the ground. So we'll keep moving on with this project and see how it goes.